Hello again, how are we doing today? We're going to be making venison beef jerky, or deer jerky. This time of season, it's a hunting season. We get some venison from our friends Nick and Shelby, which they ask me how I make my beef jerky every year, so I end up making a batch for them. And this is basically just a tutorial to bring everybody up to speed on how I make my jerky. If you want to taste along, I'm making a homemade whiskey that I've been aging for about 3 years. I'll put that in another video that you'll be able to taste along with me in the next video. And here is just a mix of spices that I have going on. It's going to be your cayenne pepper, your salt, your peppers, black pepper, cumin, a little bit of just of my blend of spices that I use there for it. I have, for what I make 3 different versions. I make a regular version, a spicy version, and then I make a teriyaki one there. And I use a sticky barbecue sauce. This is just a container I just keep on refilling. I make a hot barbecue sauce that I've used to fill there. So what today we're going to do is basically open up the venison. We're going to slice it thin so that it dries out evenly on the dehydrator, which we're going to go into that on the next phase of the project tomorrow. Alright, we're going to let it sit in the fridge and marinate for about 12 to 24 hours. Alright, follow along. And this is a venison tenderloin, so it's going to be where we start with that. And I like to just basically get about a 1/4 inch thick pieces, and it'll be evenly dried out. It's just about thin strips like that, and that'll be what I put into my different marinades. This actually. A little bit of working space. And you can pretty much play with the recipe. There's no set way you need to make your jerky. You can make a spicier one. You can make more of a teriyaki. You can make a peppercorn. You can make a bourbon flavor, which I might actually soak some in the whiskey that I make, just to give a couple different variations and see what style you like. But the spices typically stay the same, and then you just add additional spicing or add a hotter pepper if you're looking for something that's a little bit spicier. Just depends on your real palate. You'll find what you actually like as you make a couple different batches. So once you cut all this up, then you'll divide it, and then you'll start actually aging it. All right. And you can see if you slice right along slowly with the grain, or against the grain, you'll know how it'll actually slice off really nice and thin strips for you. So if you, once you, right there, nice long fillets. Good sharp knife, serrated knife works better for me, but it might be something you figure out on your own as you're slicing, but it gets nice good thin slices. That's going to make great jerky once it's seasoned up and dehydrated. Yeah, that'll do it. And some of them don't come out perfect. And you'll see that you do have some waste from the gristle and the tendons that go through a tenderloin. It's the best meat to be able to make the jerky out of, but it does also have some waste that you're just going to have with the way that you have to cut it to be able to get the best pieces. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually marinate and season the different flavors of the jerky. And then we're going to let it marinate for a couple hours overnight, 12 to 24 hours, and then be able to use a dehydrator and actually make the jerky at that point. So what we do is I already have them sort of divided up into the 3 containers. So I just basically, so I get a little bit of cuts of each one of them, and to try to get the better cuts for underneath, so that they just get a little bit more of the marinade on them. So, alright. You just kind of sprinkle a little bit of each of these on. So that you get a good coating throughout the pieces. And then you're going to add a little bit of, I add a little bit of vinegar to it just to kind of give it a little bit of a curing process, since it is wild game, but that's not really necessary. All right. So once you have it divided up fairly equally between the different flavors that you want to make, I'll add a little bit more to the spicy one, and then I'll make sure this has enough even coating on it for the amount of extra that it is in the standard. And this will be my teriyaki one back here, which I use just a teriyaki sauce, and then I'll put a little bit of salt and pepper in that too, just to give a little flavor. Okay. Alright, so now that I have all of the seasonings added, I'm going to let these sit overnight and let them marinate. I'll probably stir them once or twice before I go to bed tonight, and then just to kind of get everything coated and evenly marinated. And then tomorrow, what I will do is load up the dehydrator, probably with the regular one first, and then I will do the super spicy one that I have on the bottom shelf, and I'll put the teriyaki on top as things start to dry out. And I run 2 different batches because it's probably 4.5 to 6 pounds somewhere in there of meat, so venison. So stay tuned, and you'll see the next part here in a few minutes. Alright, now after the venison has marinated for the night, basically what we'll do is we'll start loading it in the American Harvest dehydrator. And you'll be moving this around a little bit as it starts to dry, checking on it maybe every half an hour or so, just so that you're getting a little bit more spacing for it as it dries, so it ends up getting evenly dried and spaced out accordingly. There you go. And now that you have it all loaded up, you end up turning on the dehydrator, and I'll check it about every half an hour or so, and it's good to go. And we'll condense and rotate them off as it's starting to dry. Back in there. Alright, so we're going to give you a little update on the deer jerky, venison jerky that we've been working on. This is the original blend that I have, and I'll vacuum seal up certain packs afterwards, but just until I'm done making everything, this is about how much jerky came off the regular blend of jerky that I made. Alright, now that we're done with the dehydrating, I have the teriyaki blend, I have the original blend, and then the hot and spicy blend. And that's how I make my beef jerky and deer jerky, and then I will be vacuum sealing the bags up so that they last a little longer.